Thursday. Great to be with you once again on the Winning Cures Everything platform. I am merely the somewhat capable co-host, TJ Rives. He is the guru. He is the owner, the operator, the purveyor of winningcureseverything.com. Hello, Gary Seegers. It's good to have you. We need to explain to the audience up front that we have been trying for a few minutes to figure out whatever the gremlin is with Gary's continuous video. We see you like in spots and stages, so you need to make some like model poses, some faces, whatever, because we're only seeing it every once in a while. Fans, we weren't going to miss this to be here live to talk underdogs in college football. I love that last pose for the audience. The last pose was like touchdown. You were like touchdown, yes. Jesus. I love that. So we can hear you clearly. Welcome. We see you sort of, Mighty One. Good to be back with you.
Oh, it's good to be back for sure. If it's not one thing, it's another. And this week it has been the webcam in the browser not working for whatever reason. It works on everything else.
They need marriage counseling right now. The webcam and the browser need to be with Dr. Phil. Don't you still love him? It needs a little of that right now. I'm just giving Gary some levity right now because my man's hair, his hair's been on fire for the last 10 minutes going, why won't the stream? It's been an issue. I tried with Scott. It was working fine yesterday. I tried with Scott on Monday from Spank Odds, Vegas Horse Pools, and it lagged then. It was working fine yesterday. I had no issue, but it's always something. Temperamental technology here on Three Dog Thursday. Thank you for finding us.
I'm glad that I got through it. This is Thursday. I've got one more podcast that I'm doing later this evening. And then I'm done for Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday is the recap show.
And hopefully you're not taking a ball pin hammer to the camera or to the laptop.
It'll be the laptop. The camera's fine.
Before this weekend. Listen, anyway, thank you for finding us. If you're on the video show, on YouTube, on the social media, Gary's social media at Winning Cures or Gary WCE, you see, Mr. Seegers, that I am rocking the Bucko Bruce because it's creamsicle week for my NFL gig, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers playing the Atlanta Falcons. So I decided to don a little creamsicle here for the Bucs for this weekend and, give it a little splash of color on the program. But if you're only hearing us on the podcast, come find the video portion of the show under Gary's platforms and his YouTube page. A lot of good audience. We'll even take some response, including you making fun of my orange polo or Gary's lagging video or something. They can't make fun of the picks right now, Gary Seegers.
You got that right.
Last week we were 4-2. Congrats on NC State outright for you. Congrats on North Texas that covered against Memphis. We had best of both worlds because that's my Memphis Tigers. So they covered, but they didn't win North Texas. So we're good on that. And I had 2 outright winners. Thank you to both Georgia Southern. I went to a Sun Belt team finally in week number 8 of college football. And Georgia Southern came through with an outright win over James Madison. I didn't expect an outright win, but they got one. And then the Georgia Bulldogs over Texas last week, very impressively. So 4 underdog winners on last week's show out of 6. By the way, I've picked 7 correct going back the last 4 weeks, averaging right at 2 a show. So we hope that clip continues with a little credibility. Any other thoughts from you on last week before we move forward to this week and some underdogs, Gary?
This has been the most chaotic season. Maybe since 2007. We've talked about that a couple of different times. But, I mean, what happened just last night with Kennesaw State?
Tell them.
Kennesaw State was atrocious. And they win outright against Liberty. Liberty is a 27.5-point favorite. Now, that number I thought was just flat wrong. But to bet Kennesaw, you're betting on a team that scored 5 total points on a terrible, terrible Middle Tennessee State team. I can't even begin to explain how unbelievable that was. That Kennesaw State runs the triple option. They threw the ball. They were 16 of 20 passing last night.
Obviously, they decided to ditch a little triple option last night. I didn't see a lot of the game, but I saw the scores and the update. And what did I see? It is the first time in FBS in like 20 years. Is it 20 years or how long has it been since an 0-5 or worse beat a 5-0 or better? And that's what happened last night.
I thought the last time that happened was it Was it 1998? Was
And
it
maybe
further
it's
back
not
than
even
that?
this century. So welcome to the craziness of this college football season. As we keep talking about, is there a true number one? Is there, I mean, could you make the case that about 10 teams or more are going to emerge maybe from the college football playoff as a potential national champion? I think you could make that case, right? That
Yes,
you could make an argument for about 10 teams right now, right?
depending on the matchup, yes, 100%. I don't know who to trust and what to make of any of it. Nobody wants to play hard. It feels. I mean, it's a very, very strange season. I'll tell you that.
I understand. All right, we're all about the underdogs. We're going to go quickly here because of Gary's video. And again, if you're hearing us, you got no issues. We'll just keep going. But we do also have the props. We have the cards for this week. We brought back having the visual aids here on the predictions. So where do you want to begin first? Are you going to piggyback off my Sun Belt winner last week on Three Dog Thursday with Georgia Southern? And where are you going if so?
Indeed, we are, my good friend. We are going to Georgia State +7, going to App State. And I know that App State looked pretty good against Louisiana just a couple of weeks ago. App State has not played a lot of football recently. They are still dealing with the cleanup from the flooding and whatnot from Hurricane Helene.
Yep.
But App State is atrocious at tackling. They are in like the 110s as far as tackle grade at PFF. And you start looking at their defense. And I mean, my brother, they are 126 in PPA allowed per pass. They are number 134, dead last in predicted points added allowed per rush. Their defense is really, really bad. And they turn the ball over. They are number 132 out of 134 in giveaway rate in turnovers. And they're not good at actually getting turnovers either. This App State team is not good whatsoever, and they play fast. They are number 5 in the country in offensive plays per game. On offense, the only thing that they can really do well is throw the ball with Joey Aguilar, the quarterback there. They're number 75 in PPA per pass. Now, they are pretty good on a down-to-down basis. They're number 7 in passing success rate, but you can't get it into the end zone that way. They are number 99 in scoring opportunities per game. That is getting inside the opponent's 40-yard line. Now, Georgia State is not anything to write home about. Don't get me wrong. They're number 122 in PPA margin. App State is number 126. But this is such a high variance game. I already bet this thing when it was at 8. The market has started to catch up a little bit. Georgia State does a pretty good job of not turning the ball over. They're number 61 in turnover margin. They're number 27 in penalties per game. App State is number 93 in that. So you've got just a ton of hidden yardage, a ton of just little things where Georgia State does not make mistakes and App State does. I will trust Georgia State here plus the 7 to be able to get this done. It's more of a bet against App than it is a bet on Georgia State, I'll say.
Interesting. So we're going right back to the Sun Belt. Now, Gary's got his card. Hold your card up for as long as you can.
Because I had it for a second. And then...
It will just leave it up there. It will freeze on the screen. So he's going back to the Sun Belt for the reasons he gave. And there it is right there. Georgia State plus the 7. We make it work on Three Dog Thursday is his first underdog play on the show. Now, as I mentioned, every week I watch you and Kyle and Parker on the BetUS college football show. Religiously. I get some great intel off of that. We encourage everybody to go to the BetUS YouTube platform and watch that, in addition to being on here on Winning Cures with Gary stuff. And you guys were going on and on about Friday night UNLV Boise State. What a tremendous game in the Mountain West this is going to be. It's at Vegas. Obviously, these are the two of the best teams in that conference. So it's one of the games of the year in the regular season here in late October. And I love the Running Rebels, the moxie of the Running Rebels. They win last week. I know you had Oregon State. I felt for you because you had them, plus the 7.5, and they had a couple of problems.
No, I had them plus 8.
Plus 8,
I believe.
And so you had a couple of problems with like a blocked punt and something else in the second. And UNLV found a way.
I remember what it was. I bet the plus 8, so I was okay on that. It was on the show. It was 7.5 because it moved before the show. Yeah,
it did. And so UNLV goes into Corvallis and wins last week. This is a UNLV team that also won against Kansas on the road. They played some wild games, and I love the stat you had on the BetUS show that in their last 11 as an underdog, they're 10-1. Now, the 1 is the loss to Boise State last year where Boise beat them and covered. I think this is revenge. Friday night, I don't know how big the crowd is going to be at Allegiant Stadium? Are they going to get 25, 30,000 for UNLV? Hey, nobody cares about the Raiders at this point. They're terrible. So maybe they embrace UNLV. Give me the Rebels in revenge on 3-Dog Thursday. I got UNLV plus the 3.5 with the card right there in the Mountain West game on Friday night. That will be Underdog number 2 on the show, my first one for this week. Do you have any closing thought there? Ashton Genty is a Heisman candidate at running back. He's probably going to get his. I'm just banking on UNLV can score with them and maybe even win this game outright scoring with them. Gary, any final thought?
I went Boise on this. And my bet on it was 3.5 but I still feel like Boise is a significantly stronger team. When you look at the defenses that UNLV has played, and don't get me wrong, Boise State does not have a very good defense whatsoever. But the teams that they have played, Oregon State, Utah State, Syracuse, Fresno, etc. And Fresno was banged up when they played. Kansas, I mean, they won that one 23-20. The defense had looked good earlier. Syracuse put up 44 on them. That one went to overtime, but it was 38-38, and it was a little fluky how it got there. But Utah State put up 34 on them. Oregon State last week put up 25. These are not like world beater offenses, and I think that Boise has the potential to be a world beater kind of offense. The thing that I'm most scared of is the fact that Boise is number 13 and have it created. Right. UNLV is number 48. I'm curious what Hajj Malik Williams is going to look like when
I never knew that Havoc created was an actual stat, but the fact that you have that impresses me even more. You impress me.
Well, Boise's number 1 in sacks in the country, so they're going to be getting after him. The question is, can he elude the sacks and make big plays? Because I think they certainly can.
And remember, UNLV's quarterback, the Holy Cross transfer, was it Skula? He left.
Matthew Sluka.
Yeah. I was close. I had a jumble on my Scrabble on my letters, but he ejected because he said he wasn't getting his NIL money that he had been promised, and they still have won a couple of games, including on the road at Oregon State. I'm just saying one more time for $3 Thursday, they often chanted "Rebels, Rebels." I'll take them Friday night in the matchup with Boise State. It is 3-Dog Thursday. We are well aware, if you're just joining us, Gary's video is not ideal right now. I see some of the comments here. There's a couple of commenters that are chiming in, including one. LFG says, I don't have access to the metrics like Seegers does based on vibes only, but my guess is UNLV can lose close to Boise State. Well, we'll see. Got it right.
You got the hook, so that's good.
I am going with the hook. We'll see what happens on Friday. By the way, thank you for finding us on video or on the 3-Dog Thursday podcast feed, Apple, Spreaker, Spotify. Make sure you're following, subscribing there. You see our sponsor, TicketSmarter, the TicketSmarter mobile app, the best prices on the secondary market. They have an algorithm that makes sure you're going to get the best price if you're looking for tickets for that UNLV Boise State game or any of these games that we're going to be talking about. We're going to talk about LSU and Texas A&M in a little bit. Oregon, number 1 in the country with Illinois Saturday afternoon in Eugene. Alabama, Missouri. The big noon kickoff game is Ohio State, Nebraska. In the Sunshine State, Miami's probably going to destroy Florida State. But if you're looking for tickets, use TicketSmarter. Use the promo codes. Any purchase of $100 or more, take $10 off. WCE10 takes $10 off $100 or more. But for the better seats, for a pair of the better seats, you're going to probably spend $300 or more at some of these bigger games. Good luck getting the better seats at LSU, Texas A&M for a couple of them being under $300. Don't think it's happening. Use WCE20, $20 off or more with WCE20 on TicketSmarter. Again, get in the game. Think smarter, TicketSmarter with the TicketSmarter mobile app and the promo codes WCE10 or WCE20. All right, what's your second underdog, young man, for 3-Dog Thursday here in college football? We're looking for them simply to cover. They don't have to win outright. What do you like next?
I have a team that I think can win outright, and I will take Michigan State going to Michigan. The Wolverines are bad. They are just not looking very good at all right now. The thing that Michigan State does best on defense is stop the run. They are number 43 in predicted points added allowed per rush, number 34 in rushing success rate allowed. Michigan is number 33 in rushing success rate, and they're number 31 in PPA per rush. But the issue is that if that's all that they can do, and Michigan State can stop that, on the other side, I kind of like Michigan State and what they've been able to do with Aiden Childs here, the new quarterback. This Michigan defense is not great. And when you start looking at turnover margin, et cetera, this is just going to be a highly, highly volatile game because both of these teams can turn the other team over. Michigan number 56 nope, that's not right. Number 89 in takeaways per game. Michigan State is number 70 in takeaways. Both of them are in the 120s in giveaways per game. So that's where this becomes a bit of an issue. Michigan State is certainly good enough to be able to hang in this game and to win this game outright, because which quarterback do you trust for Michigan? The Davis kid, not great. Obviously, they've turned away from him. Alex Orji can't throw the ball. And Tuttle last week, several turnovers, et cetera, against Illinois. They outgained Illinois, and Illinois still won the ball and never had a problem in the ballgame. So I don't think this Michigan team is very good. Just based on the stats over the last 4 weeks, I would actually have Michigan State favored by 9 points here. And what Michigan State did to Iowa last week, I think they can certainly do to Michigan again. So I will trust new head coach Jonathan Smith with the 5.5 for Michigan State. Let's go in and get the card up on the screen.
I like it. Leave it up there. I'll let you know that we can see it, and we're good with Gary's video. Just leave the card right there. He says Sparty plus the 5.5, and this is the 9th anniversary of how to lose a game while punting the ball on the final play of the game by Michigan at home, where the punter dropped the ball, got hit, fumbled, and Michigan State ran it in with no time left, an all-time win. That was 9 years ago.
An all-time call.
What? Yes, Sean McDonough with a great call. What did I see? That this is the worst offensive output in like 5 years to this point for Michigan. You were kind of detailing that. It's already the most losses in a season going back like 4 years for Michigan. So they have begun to become a bit unraveled. You think that continues for Three Dog Thursday here coming up. Do you mind if I stay in the Big Ten? The primetime matchup between Wisconsin and Penn State attracts me because the Badgers are at home. The Badgers on a 3-game win streak after their loss to USC, a game they were in, but then USC rattled off like 3 touchdowns in a row, including a pick 6 to pull away and cover at the Coliseum. All right, so Penn State off of a bye week, Penn State off of an overtime win themselves back a couple of weekends ago. In the Coliseum over USC. So what about the Badgers here? If you're wondering, for Wisconsin, they've covered in each of the last 3 games with Purdue and with Northwestern. And there's one more in between there too. There was somebody else that they covered and beat. I have to
Rutgers. Rutgers. They just demolished.
They obliterated
bad.
Right. They obliterated 3 bad teams in Purdue and Rutgers, and now they did beat decisively Northwestern for 3 straight covers as well. And what did I see also that for this matchup here, James Franklin and the controversy? I mean, Gary, this is serious stuff again. They've got a rape allegation against a couple of players at Penn State, and James Franklin was literally walking away from the microphone at his press conference after practice or before practice, whenever it was on Wednesday. Just a very juvenile look of, I'm not going to stand there and say no comment, etc. I think those things to me matter. That might be a distraction here. Wisconsin at home, primetime game. I'm going, you know what? I'm going Badgers. We need some stinking Badgers. We need the Badgers plus 6.5 in the Big Ten here. You've got one. I've got another. You got one with Michigan State. I've got another with Wisconsin. Anything? I know that Penn State has been very good against the number. Anything else here stand out?
You are just in fade Gary mode this week, because I took Penn State on Tuesay's show or
on
Wednesday
the
show, whatever day it was, on the BetUS show. So if you look over the last 4 weeks, yes, I would have Penn State favored by about 1 point here. Over the full season, I've got Penn State by 8. But, James Franklin covers numbers, and he had the same situation going on at Vanderbilt with players being accused of certain things and whatnot, and it did not affect the team whatsoever. As a matter of fact, it kind of becomes a bit of a rally point for teams in some cases where they feel like their guys are being unjustly accused, we'll say.
Right.
Now, I don't know what the situation is there, obviously, but those guys all know who it is that's being accused of such things. And it all just kind of depends on if they believe the guys or not, right? So as far as the situation went, I don't think there's going to be a lot of distractions. I think that Franklin had the SID come up, which I feel like he should have just been the one to come out and say, I'm not going to talk about this. I can't talk about this. He should have just said that as opposed to having the SID get out and do it.
Agreed.
And then but it's the reporter's job to ask the question.
Of course. And is
so
it a
they have to ask
distraction?
it.
Of course.
But yes, I don't think that's going to affect a whole lot. Penn State has covered the last 2 years, the week before the Ohio State game, and they have covered by more than 3 touchdowns in the last 2 years. So it's not they certainly get geared up and they are ready to go. They're coming off of a bye week. I think they're going to be fired up and ready to go. So I still kind of like Penn State here, but I can understand where you're coming from on that side because Wisconsin has looked really, really good, albeit against really terrible competition.
And let's see if Camp Randall is rocking. Tawi Walker is the running back, right?
That's
Just
right.
One more time. I'm going Badgers. I'm going Badgers here for Three Dog Thursday. And that leads us, by the way, to another sponsor on the Three Dog Thursday live show. Let's get to that right now from Go Sleeves.
Hold on. I'm getting it.
There we go. We see our friends at Go Sleeves. Again, if you are a little older, I'll stereotype here, and you've got the aching knees, the aching calf, the aching elbow, you need the kinesiology technology of Go Sleeves because it increases blood flow, as you see on the screen if you're seeing the video. It helps out with inflammation. It helps out with recovery. Again, if you are a runner, a biker, if you play pickleball, weekend basketball, whatever, for the knees, the elbows, the calves, we're seeing it on the video. Any weekend warrior athletic types, get a hold of Go Sleeves for all the different therapeutic reasons. Again, they've got tremendous technology, kinesiology technology. It is go time with Go Sleeves. GoSleeves.com, and the promo code is WCE. With Go Sleeves. They are a proud sponsor of Three Dog Thursday and the Winning Cures Everything platform where you are seeing us. So again, remember, Go Sleeves. Go Sleeves to get the discount with WCE as a proud sponsor. We've got one more underdog to go before we are out of here, either on the video show or on the audio. You get the honors. Where do you want to go next? Are you going SEC, my friend?
We are going SEC, my friend. In this, boy, today has just been a mess. So I'm hoping
Here's
that
the
Saturday
good
is a
news.
mess.
We're on the final underdogs, and this one's almost done. Just hang in there.
Oh, yes, we're getting there. Okay, we're going to LSU and Texas A&M. We're going to Kyle Field in College Station, and you've got the number 7 strength of record per ESPN and the number 8 strength of record per ESPN, with LSU at 7, A&M at number 8. When I look at these two teams, LSU overall on the season has not been great, but they have found ways to win games. But they are getting to a point now where I trust their defense. I think that they will be able to slow down the running game of Le'Veon Moss. I don't trust Connor Wigman. I know he had the fantastic game against Missouri, but I think that LSU's defense...
I can interject. He killed us. We both had Missouri in that game, and it was like a Mike Tyson first round knockout. It was over. 28-0 in the first quarter. So we got burned there, but you're going back at Wegman and Texas A&M?
Yes, I am, because I trust Garrett Nussmeier in this LSU offense. They are actually able to run the ball a little bit now, which is interesting. I'm very curious in this. I think that LSU is just the better overall team. They have covered 11 out of 12 straight against Texas A&M.
How about that?
I mean, that's a huge spot. And I mean, you're still looking at a first-year coach in Mike Elko. Going against Brian Kelly, who understands his program now, has some of the pieces in place. I'm very curious. So
you got the card? Get that card up there. Get the card up there, because it is going to freeze up there on Gary's video. And guess what? We pre-planned the show, and I had this too, and we have dueling cards. There it is. We both like LSU and the 2.5. Another stat to add to your stat is Texas A&M just 1-6 outright in their last 7 games against ranked teams. I know it's at home. That can be a great equalizer, but Nussmeier doesn't get rattled. We saw how good he was at the end of the Ole Miss game. He was really good last week against Arkansas. It's a heavyweight fight every week, it seems like, in the SEC. LSU still got Alabama looming later in the year. They used to play this game at the end of the year, remember, at the very end of the year, but now we get it in late October. I'm buying on the LSU Tigers, who haven't lost a game since the opening night loss to USC on Labor Day Sunday night. Give me the Bayou Bengals. I've got it up one more time, plus the 2.5. Just like Gary, we join in hand in hand over the cliff yet again, my friend.
Once again.
There it is. You got it frozen. I've got it frozen to join you right there on the screen for LSU. Final thought or two. We did not cover Oregon. Huge line with Illinois. That's the Saturday afternoon CBS game. Oregon #1 in the country. Is that lined about correct? Quick take from you.
I think so. I think the advantages are certainly there for Oregon to just blow them out of the water, because Illinois' defense is not as good as what we've seen, but they've been able to keep teams from running it up on them for sure. There's only been one that's beat them, and that was Penn State, and Penn State only scored 21 points. The advanced stats certainly seem to love Oregon here, but Oregon doesn't really have any reason to completely blow them out. So, I think the number's right about right. Somewhere around 20.5 to 21.5. And whichever way it lands on, you're probably going to want to take the other side. So if it's 20.5, there's a lot of people that would bet Oregon. At 21.5, there's a lot of people that would bet Illinois.
By the way, noon on ABC is Navy Notre Dame. Navy unbeaten. By the way, what did I see? Navy and Army are both undefeated and in the top 25 this late in a season, 6 games in a season for the first time, like since the 1930s. Is that what I saw 90 years ago? The last time they're both there. Navy's getting 13.5 home away from home game at the Meadowlands. I don't know about going against Notre Dame here, even with 2 touchdowns. Quick thought, quickly.
So initially my thought was, my goodness, you can't give Navy that many points. They're really, really efficient. But when you go back and look at who they've played, they have played the number 132 strength of schedule in the country. Right. There's nobody that is even close to what Notre Dame does. Notre Dame can stop the run. And when you are set up in passing downs, Navy has faced no adversity whatsoever.
Right.
So maybe like a Notre Dame team total, something like that. I would not feel great about backing Navy in this spot.
Even with 13 or 13.5 points. Again, that's a noon game. All right, by means of recap, Gary again with Georgia State, Michigan State, and LSU. I agree, and I'll show the cards one more time. I have UNLV on Friday night with Boise State. Give me Wisconsin, another Big Ten team in the primetime game with Michigan State, and I agree with Gary on LSU, plus the 2.5 at Texas A&M.
LSU.
There's his LSU card. We love that. We're in agreement on that. Listen, great job. There's Michigan State. And you can go ahead and stick the Georgia State card up there one more time, too, to verify all of Gary's picks. We'll see that on the video. There they all are.
There
we made it through on the live show, the video show, and on the podcast. Again, subscribe on Apple, Spreaker, Spotify for the 3 Dog Thursday podcast. Take us in your earbuds, take us in the car, etc., where you shouldn't be watching video, and hear us on 3 Dog Thursday, the podcast, on those outlets. Gary, good luck with the Underdogs. Great work on the BetUS show on their platforms. Great work here on Winning Cures. Check out all of Gary's videos, by the way, not just Underdogs, but favorites, totals, all of it, all the great content right here on this channel. My friend, good luck with the Underdogs. Thank you again for another fun Thursday.
And to you. I'm looking forward to a fun weekend, my friend.
There is Gary Seegers. I'm merely TJ Rives. Find out more at 3dogthursday.com. Of course, Gary's platform is winningcureseverything.com, where you find us each and every Thursday for 3 Dog Thursday. Woof, woof.